Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, I finished watching Beef. It was pretty amazing. I haven't seen a really great TV series for years. There hasn't been anything this deep for years, and it was a little unexpected. I really just expected it to be very gimmicky, very just revenge. But they had deeper levels to these characters, and they got to a level that I would say would rival that episode of Fraggle Rock when Boober and Red are trapped in the cabin and think they're dying. Whoever wrote the last episode saw that episode of Fraggle Rock. It was life-changing. But yeah, seriously, I watched the first 3 episodes because I discovered the series late. I know it came out April last year and was a big buzz and that. Well, I missed that apparently. And it wasn't until they got the Emmys that I actually realised that there was this great show called Beef. So I thought I watched the first episode. I had to go to bed and I'm like, oh, I can't stop here. So I ended up watching the first 3, managed to stop, go to sleep because the third episode has a kind of soft ending. And then I watched 4 to 10 today. So yeah, it got to levels I didn't think it was going to, particularly the second last episode, the raid by the police and everything, and all the robberies that were planned towards the end of the series. It got a bit extreme, and I thought, have they jumped the shark here? Is this going too far? But then they pull it right back, and the last episode is just the 2 main characters just dealing with each other, which was kind of fascinating. So the series starts off with basically, it's really tragic because you don't sort of know exactly what's happening for a few episodes in, and then you sort of can piece it together. But Stephen Ewan's character, Danny, he's just depressed, he's miserable, he's a narcissist who can't handle the fact that he doesn't mean anything to anyone, he's not important, he's sort of failed as the breadwinner and everything, and he's trying to take care of his brother, but he keeps his brother back. He holds him back so he doesn't leave him, and you find out in about, I think, episode 7 that he threw out all his college applications so they were never sent. So he didn't want him to leave him. So at first you just think the brother's a loser. Then you realise he's kept him there because he needs to have him there. So that's tragic and pathetic on its own. The wife, the husband has an emotional affair. To his credit, he didn't actually have a physical affair. He tells her, she forgives him, but doesn't happen to mention she had a physical affair because she actually ends up sleeping with Paul, Danny's brother. During the whole process, she catfishes him, or the business, and ends up speaking to Paul. And then, even though he finds out that she was catfishing him, he still falls for her because he's like a helpless little puppy who needs someone to tell him what to do. And so he chases her. They have sex. He thinks she's going to be a sugar mama, and he actually asks her for money, and she's like, yeah, no, it's not that easy. He thinks he can just get a loan from her and become rich, and then he calls her a bitch, and that's the end of that. And then it's not until later when he finds out that she was using him that he goes mental and then goes to her husband and tells her that, yeah, I slept with her, here's the receipts. So he leaves her, no second chance, no, well, you forgave me the emotional affair, I'll forgive you this physical affair, which often people are less bothered by, from what I hear in marriages. So then she's got nothing to lose, so she goes absolutely insane because he takes the daughter with her when he goes. But then Danny, who befriended him as Zane, comes back. He doesn't know that he knows that he's, the handyman. So they fight. He pulls a gun on him. They fight. He knocks him out. He runs. He ends up taking the daughter with him because she gets in the car to get Skittles because he's always got Skittles and she's a greedy little monster. Seriously, kids, kill them with fire. I mean, God. So then there's an Amber Alert, and these guys are basically looking like a bunch of kidnappers, and they try and hit her up for a ransom. I'm like, you're just making this worse, really? Because, there's some of these guys are absolutely stupid. And she's like, my boss has millions of dollars in artifacts. I'm here with her. Come here to this address. break in, get the stuff, leave my daughter in the car, and you'll have millions. You can sell this stuff for millions. Well, of course, that goes horribly wrong. The boss ends up getting cut in half by the panic room door. The boys get separated outside. Paul escapes, but Danny's trapped, and he actually says, get away from me. He tells him about the college applications and everything. Eventually the police come. The husband takes the daughter, and she's left with the paramedics, and eventually she's just there by herself. And Danny escapes because he got into the air vents, basically, and he escapes and isn't caught. He's leaving. She sees him. She chases. We get a reverse of the first situation where he chased her. And eventually they run each other off a cliff in the desert. Seriously. And the last episode is the two of them stuck together out in the desert, eating poison berries, hallucinating and thinking they're going to die. And it's kind of brilliant because they're both these damaged, disturbed, tragic people, and they're both so afraid of people seeing who they really are. The two of them see each other, see their faults, see their evil, and just accept each other. In death, accept each other. And then they wake up the next morning, they don't die. They walk to safety. The husband shows up because he tracked her iPhone, because the last message she sent to him was, Paul's trying to run me off the road, basically. Until the end, she's making him out to be the villain when she's the real villain. She started it, and she took it to levels he couldn't really match, and kept winning. But he didn't know when to stop. And he shoots him, and they both end up basically, he's in the bed in the hospital in a coma, and the last thing is her sitting there with him, because one of the worst moments of the series is, for me, the worst moment was when the cousin hits Danny, and I'm like, you can't hit Stephen Ewan. It was like traumatic. Then later, Paul says to him, you're nothing. Literally, when you die, no one will care. And he slaps him. But that's really what he's afraid of, and what sort of the truth is, that no one cares. He isn't connected to anyone. But then when he is in that coma, the only person who's there is her. And she crawls in bed with him, and the last thing you see is an overhead shot of his hand just coming up behind to go around her. So, these two damaged people who hated each other so much, who went after each other so much, who projected all their stuff onto each other, saw each other for who they were, accepted each other, and found some sort of love and acceptance in this insanity. And it was really fascinating and brilliant to watch. I only wish I could write something like this. I've got a few stories that are sort of, and it's like, it inspires you to want to do something unique. And so often, I think when you're looking at creating something, you're always comparing yourself to other things and thinking you have to be something. Just realizing there are unique stories and unique characters that, need to be told, need to be seen. It just gives me some hope that it doesn't all have to be the same, all in the same mold. So I just found this series really fascinating. The characters really amazing and really inspiring and disturbing and tragic, with some hope in there as well. And that was kind of beautiful. It's hard to explain. It was just one of those shows you just sit in awe of for a few episodes. The rest was just just trying to get the next sort of shocking ending for the episode. There was some of that in there, of course, but underneath it was a real attempt at exploring these characters' psychology and psychosis. But I know my phone is going to run out of space before I get to 10 minutes. So I better go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the series. I know everyone else has seen it. It's been and gone and gotten the Emmys and everything, but I didn't know about it till after it hit the Emmys. And yeah, apparently, what's the other one? There's another, like the two big series. There was Beef and the one with the white guy. His name is literally Alan White. I'm going to watch that next. But yeah, I'm just glad I stumbled across this show. I hope it ends up being sold, on DVD so I can keep a copy of it forever. Because I would love to revisit these characters and watch their journey again. It's not like some shows where you just want to see what happens next, and then once you sort of don't ever need to see the episode again because none of it matters. Everything in this sort of peeled back a new level of desperation and insanity in these people, and at the end you feel like you know them, and it's just a fascinating little journey, and I wouldn't mind going on it again. So yeah, I'm gonna go. Bye.